Hey my voodoo lovers and voodoo dolls, welcome back to the channel, and if you're new, please consider subscribing if you enjoy content like this. It's free and it's easy, and plus, we'll have fun together. Booduluv TV is a variety channel. Not only do we do paranormal psychic videos, we also do music covers, original music, makeup tutorials, contact lens reviews, fragrance videos, drama bids from time to time, and so much more. So hopefully you won't get bored, and neither will we. So for those of you that are new here, welcome, and click on that subscribe button because we want you to be a part of our Booduluv community. So I'm a born psychic medium, but as far as career goes, I'm a professional actor and singer. So basically, a performer. I do have to say that all psychics are different, and there is no specific way how we get our information. Information for me can come in spurts or waves through visions, apparitions, and really deep intuition or disembodied voices. I'm also a clairaudient. Also, information comes to me like a movie and sometimes like snapshots, but most of the time, it's through trance channeling. Basically, I'm a sleeping psychic. Let's dive in deep now into the psychic realm. Elizabeth Short, born on July 29th, 1924, died January 15th, 1947. Known posthumously as the Black Dahlia, was an American woman who was found murdered in the Lament Park neighborhood of Los Angeles, California. Her case became highly publicized due to the graphic nature of the crime, which included her corpse having been mutilated and bisected at the waist. Her murder shook the entire city of Los Angeles. Short's unsolved murder and the details surrounding it have had a lasting cultural intrigue, generating various theories and public speculation. It has likewise been credited by historians as one of the first major crimes in post-World War II America to capture national attention. Dahlia has been the source of inspiration for many books, films, TV shows. So I channeled Dahlia, and it was the most intense channeling I've done up to date. I was trying to fall asleep, but all of a sudden I started thinking about Black Dahlia. The next thing I know, I see this tall German man. I know he's German because he had a Nazi swastika on his coat. He was hovering around my bedside and he had on a type of World War II German trench coat. His hand was missing. He had a hook instead of a hand, and it was his right hand. He had a patch over one of his eyes. He also had like a stubble type of beard, like kind of like dirty looking, but it wasn't a full beard. He looks like he was in his late 40s or early 50s, and he was also wearing black combat boots. As he's coming closer towards me, this entity made his intention very clear. He tried to torture me, and I was begging him not to. But he called me Dahlia. And it was right there that I knew that Dahlia was showing me what was happening to her on the day of her death. He was trying to hurt my feet with a needle, like he wanted to inject me with something. And then I felt paralyzed, so I'm assuming he wanted to sleep me and kind of like, knock me out. And then he moved up to my waist and threatened to cut me with his hook. At this moment, I was pushed out of my body, so my soul was pushed out, and I saw my body laying in bed and all these people around me, just staring at me, and the guy torturing me. So when I woke up, I heard a disembodied voice say, "Elizabeth." I knew then and there that my vision was about Black Dahlia. So I meditated on her energy again, and she came through. It was like a movie. Spirit said that she wanted to make it big and nothing was going to stop her. She wanted to be famous. She wanted fame no matter the cost. She was a Leo. She was fire. She had a big personality, and she was fierce and independent. So you could say she was fiercely independent. She would rub people the wrong way, especially men, because they weren't used to having a woman act like that. Elizabeth was ahead of her time, and she believed in her talent. Elizabeth Short was a woman on a mission. She's saying, actually, as I'm filming this, I'm hearing I got involved with the wrong people, and it was just a matter of time. I got involved with the wrong people. It was just a matter of time. She said she was lured into the Biltmore Hotel, which is now the Cecil, under the guise that it was to talk about a contract, a film contract of sorts. I see a big, stocky, bald white guy in his late 40s, and he's greeting her at what seems to be the lobby of the hotel, the foyer, and he kind of reminds me of President Dana White from the UFC. Somebody in the industry promised her a big break, but it was all smoke and mirrors. She says deceit. She said I was part of a ring. She was in too deep. She thought this is the only way. She truly believed that the only way for her to break into the industry was to mingle with specific powerful men and basically agree to be used and abused. That's what I heard. Those are the exact words that she used And I still hear it. Used and abused. She was a sex slave, guys. She's telling me this, and she's using this terminology. I was a sex slave. I'm a Virgo, and us psychic Virgos tend to be pretty literal about everything. So with that being said, I pass down the information to you in the exact same way I receive it. If Spirit says tomato, I say tomato. If Spirit says tomato, I will say tomato. So Elizabeth was a sex slave, and I did what I had to do. Her role in this blood cult, let's call it that, a blood cult, was just to provide her body and consent to the SM ritual practices and be filmed on occasion for private entertainment of this elite cult. So she basically agreed to this because she was promised Hollywood gold, Hollywood success. Elizabeth knew that her true bargaining chip was her sexuality. The moment that she agreed to this and took part in her first ritual, this was a moment that a dark entity attached itself to her. She's saying that her decision to be okay with this specific cult led to her demise. She keeps telling me, be careful what you wish for. I didn't want to be famous like this. I understand this wholeheartedly because I'm a professional actor and show business is extremely difficult and hard to get into. It's tough now, but imagine how hard it was being a woman at that time, being ahead of your time and dealing with super sexist Hollywood men and the infamous casting couch at that time. As we all know, women had very little options in the 1940s, and it's just the way it was. The law was not on our side, if you know what I mean. So, back to be careful what you wish for. This is so true. Dahlia didn't want what happened to her to be her legacy. I keep hearing not like this. She wanted fame so bad that she literally made a deal with the devil. Ugh, I know this sounds super cliche, okay? But that's exactly what I'm hearing. So the minute that she agreed for her energy to align with the dark energy, a series of unfortunate events started happening regarding her career. I see that she was getting impatient. I see her pacing back and forth in frustration and anger. She's wearing a beautiful black tailored pencil skirt outfit. She looks beautiful and sexy, yet very, very frustrated. She's in a pretty apartment, and I see her pacing back and forth in front of this huge glass window. So I'm guessing she's showing me this because this moment led to that fateful meeting at the hotel on January 9th, 1947. Here's another thing. She says she started wearing a lot of black because it was required of her. They needed her to look a certain way, basically like marking or claiming her as property of the cult. Not a member, but property. It was through this cult that she met a lot of influential men and started building her little black book of contacts. In this industry, one thing remains unchanged. You need to establish relationships and connections to make it, or you just ain't making it. I mean, it is what it is. So back to Black Dahlia's reading. I'm seeing that she was introduced to Dr. Holden through a member of this cult. I'm hearing she needed a checkup and he was their doctor. Dr. Holden was involved, but he was not the only one. I'm hearing that he was a huge part of what happened. But the last fatal wound or blow that Dahlia received was not administered by Dr. Holden. I'm seeing the German Nazi guy again, the one with the hook. He's the one that ended up snuffing out her life force. Dr. Holden did the rest. Oh, and Elizabeth is showing me an audience. There was a group of people watching that were in on it. Now, the Cecil Hotel has some really dark history. Just to mention a few: Eliza Lamb, Richard Ramirez, the serial killer, and so many more. Not to mention the fact that the Cecil Hotel was previously known as the Biltmore Hotel, which I wholeheartedly believe was owned by the Vanderbilt family. So, that family is known to have its own dark secrets, if you know what I mean. Even though there is really no evidence to show that the Vanderbilts built the hotel or ordered to build the hotel, I find it very hard to believe, with all the copyright laws in place, that the Vanderbilts were going to allow anyone to use their trademark name of their very own Biltmore estate and allow those people to make money off their brand. Yeah, I don't think so. You've got to be very naive to take it at face value when you really dig into the history. Another dead giveaway as to why it's so obvious they were involved with the building, even if they were just investors, was the fact that the name of the hotel was changed from the Biltmore Hotel to the Cecil Hotel. So, why the Cecil and not some other random name? Because the Cecil family acquired the Biltmore estate when George Vanderbilt's daughter, Cornelia, and John Cecil joined in marriage. When they divorced, Cornelia was bored and took off to New York and Europe, while Cecil stayed in charge of the Biltmore estate in North Carolina because he was in love with the Biltmore. I mean, who isn't? It's a beautiful place. Vanderbilts are one of the few elite families that built railroads and the transportation system here in the U.S. So, Vanderbilt's daughter was arranged to marry John Cecil. The Vanderbilts had the exorbitant amount of money and owned one, if not the biggest estate in the United States, the Biltmore estate in Asheville, North Carolina. I've been there many times and it is exquisitely decadent, yet very sketch. So, the Cecils had the title, prestige, and old world money, and the Vanderbilts had and still have an insane amount of wealth. Fun fact, Anderson Cooper, everyone's favorite CNN reporter, is indeed a Vanderbilt, an heir to be exact. So, I'm being shown that the Cecil Hotel was built with a true dark purpose. It was sinister since its inception. There are hidden floor plans not known to the public. I'm seeing rituals, opening of portals, dark rooms that the public doesn't even know about. I'm also being shown some secret underground rooms. Weird, but that's what I see. Dahlia showed me a dark room. The entire room was black. The walls were painted black, the floor was black, but there is what seems to look like a World War II hospital bed right in the middle of the room. The bed has white sheets. Both of Dahlia's hands are tied down. Her feet are spread apart. She's showing me 6 older white men in the room and 4 white women, young women. All of the females look scared. They were wearing some type of off-white or nude lace negligees. The men are wearing black suits. One of the men is saying, "You see, girls, that's what happens to you if you cross us." It's like they're saying, let this be a lesson. Dahlia is saying they made an example out of me. They wanted to destroy and humiliate me, and I wanted no more. That's what she's saying. Okay, guys, this is intense. Elizabeth wanted out. She no longer wanted to be involved because she wasn't seeing any gains and was becoming impatient. She says, "I called out their bluff. I confronted them. I was gonna talk and let the world know. And she paid the highest price for wanting her freedom back and for wanting to expose them to the public. They freed her, but again, I'm hearing be careful what you wish for and how you wish for it. I'm hearing they twisted my truth. Her actions backfired on her big time. Contrary to what is believed and said, I'm seeing that Dahlia never made it out alive from the Biltmore Hotel on January 9th. They needed her soul as a ritual sacrifice. They needed her to die inside the hotel property for ritualistic reasons, to bind her energy. This is going to sound really weird, but I have to say it because I'm being pushed to say it. The Cecil Hotel, back then, the Biltmore, is a soul trap. They need to sacrifice and bind souls inside the hotel to feed the hotel. Okay. This sounds uber strange and ridiculous, but that's what I'm getting. Also, this is very interesting because when I visited the Biltmore estate in North Carolina, which is now owned by the Cecil family, I visited the Halloween room. It looks more like a dungeon because in order to get there, there's this long underground stone passageway which takes you to the Halloween room. Allegedly, Vanderbilt's daughter performed seances there, and all her elite friends were invited to join in. This is all a legend, and it might just be rumors, but okay, let's keep going. Just imagine how many portals there are there which remain open. There's also a room in the Biltmore estate called Assembly of the Gods, which is not open to the public, allegedly. That's where George Vanderbilt assembled with other elites that run the world and the US. I mean, he probably invited Lucifer himself. I mean, why not at this point, right? So on that note, I did take a picture of the staircase leading to the forbidden floor, and a demonic face appeared in my photo. So I wouldn't be surprised if the devil himself attended those nefarious meetings. Also, fun fact, allegedly, right, let's say alleged, the Vanderbilts purchased tickets for the maiden voyage of the Titanic. And 1 week before the Titanic was set to sail, George Vanderbilt canceled his plans. Apparently somebody tipped him with an important, tip. And y'all know that the Astors perished on the Titanic, and that's when the Rockefellers took over New York City, allegedly. So now that I've given you a little backstory on the Biltmore Cecil estate and how influential they were and very much still are, they're actually one of the most elite families in the world. It gives you a little bit of perspective on the type of people Dahlia didn't even know she was dealing with. I am not saying that mentioned families had anything to do with it, okay? But I kept hearing talk about the Biltmore, so I'm assuming Spirit is referring to my experience at the Biltmore. So now she's showing me the Soden house. By the way, just listen to that name, Soden. No, guys, not Snowden. Soden sounds like sewed in, like souls or blood need to be woven into the fabric of the house to appease the Mayan gods or something. I mean, they say it's all in a name, but she's saying not there. Okay, so what I'm getting is that she was not murdered at the Soden house, but did visit the house quite frequently in the months leading up to her murder. She's telling me that the authorities, I believe she's talking about the LAPD at the time of her death, she's specifically telling me that the coroner and key officers were involved in hiding the evidence and tampering with it. They were not only paid handsomely, she's using that term, and that they were part of the cult. She's showing me a black sticky web that's all around the Soden house and reaches outward into the Los Angeles metro area. Also, interesting side note, the Soden house design is Neo-Mayan, and the front part and interior part of the house is very reminiscent of the Mayan pyramids, which were used for sacrificial rituals. Dr. Holden confessed to the murder, as well as the murder of his own secretary. But I hear the word cover up. I'm hearing that Holden was used as a fall guy in case things went sideways. He was groomed to take the blame. He was never convicted for Dahlia's murder, even though he confessed. Guys, it wasn't Holden who murdered her. He was involved post-mortem, and I am not going to mention or talk about those gruesome details because I don't want to get in trouble here on YouTube. You can imagine the unspeakable things that happened. This does include everything that the public already knows and things that were never disclosed publicly. She's saying down the drain. She's showing me that she saw her blood post-mortem, meaning her spirit was hovering around her body, and she's seeing her own blood down the drain. So Holden is right there with the Nazi guy I told you guys about in the beginning of the video. I feel like she had an abortion earlier in life before going out to Hollywood, maybe Miami. I'm getting Miami. I'm getting Florida. Well, that's weird too. Florida. Okay, so she's also saying she really wanted to visit Italy. I don't know, but I'm hearing that. Her energy is strong, and I feel like I'm all over the place with this, but she's very energetic. Holden and that German dude from my vision have some serious Dr. Mengele vibes. She's showing me that she was tortured, felt excruciating pain by the wounds being inflicted on her. Since Dahlia didn't willingly sacrifice herself, she's saying that her screams were necessary. Her screams were very necessary. Okay, hold up. What does that even mean? I could only assume that means it was part of the ritual. I'm getting that the actual bisection of her body was done post-mortem. She's saying it had to be done this way because, and this is what she's showing me, parts of her body, including organs, went to top bidders of this elite club. That's what I'm seeing, and that's what she's showing me. I also feel like the woman that found her body was planted. There were multiple people involved in Black Dahlia's case. Pretty elaborate, if you ask me. So Elizabeth didn't cross over immediately. She didn't want to go out the way she did. She made a bargain with the wrong people, and it didn't go her way. She does understand that now. However, karmically speaking, they bound her soul, and these people wanted to enslave her soul and harness her energy. They did this to enslave her on the other side too. Like trap her interdimensionally. I mean, is that even a thing? That's what I'm getting regarding their evil intentions. But I don't believe they succeeded. She had a lot of healing to do, and I see a really bright light surrounding her. So I believe that she does cross back and forth between dimensions. So I hope you guys like this video. Please share, comment, give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and hit that bell for notifications. I'll be uploading a lot more videos very soon, so stay tuned for that and much, much more here on Booduluv TV. Love you guys. You guys are all amazing, each and every one of you. See you in my next video. Mwah! Bye!